Okay, so I know this seems late, but we wanted to let the trailer digest and also watch it again. Knee jerk reactions for something like this, I think it's more important to let it marinate. So we've had a few days to let this trailer marinate, and we've seen it a couple of more times. And the first thing I have to say about this trailer is, where the fuck is Eugene? Like,
That was not what I was expecting you to say.
like, wait a minute, someone's missing. That was my first question, and then my second question is, how come all the Michonne scenes are with Rosita, and they're clearly from the same period of time, whereas the rest of the trailer is taking place over like the course of several different instances? That's worrisome to me. That's worrisome to me as a Michonne fan, and I'm not ready to let her go yet. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying those two things are just like glaring to me in the trailer. Like, where's Eugene? Why don't we see Michonne with Rick or with anyone else other than Rosita? Because I don't like her anyway.
Well,
Okay. What do you think I was
So,
going to say?
so my well, I didn't know, which is also a testament to an important point, which is that we don't script our videos at all. Like we just like freestyle it.
Mm-hmm.
I never have any idea what I'm going to say before we hit record. They also only showed like one scene involving Negan, which was with like Father Gabriel, and then the only other thing we ever see in the entire trailer is him hitting the bat on the table.
Yeah, that was a different scene.
Exactly, that's my point. So like basically like, and that could have been the same scene.
Oh, the lighting was so different though.
Well, but he's obviously interrogating somebody, and given the fact that like he obviously has control of Father Gabriel in the first scene, it stands to reason that he is probably also like interrogating Gabriel at a different point later on.
Well, he means Gabriel. He's just a little preacher man.
I think that probably what's going on is that they can't show the relevant scenes with Michonne in the footage because it would probably produce spoilers. And probably the same with Eugene as well.
Well, spoiler alert, it's all a dream. No, I'm kidding. I don't think that's what's happening at all.
No.
Although I will say that last scene with old man Rick in the bed and the cane and shit had a dream-like quality to it. Like, it was kind of fuzzy, like a weird filter on it, which is strange, but whatever. It's not all a dream.
It's not.
And it's not some kid looking at a snow globe.
No, it's not. I'm pretty much 100% confident in terms of like what it is. I'm not going to actually say it now because those who have not read the comics, it's a huge spoiler. But it's not a dream. Don't worry about that theory. It's not true. He's still alive. It's just it has to do with like a time jump and things that are relevant in the comics that you guys just haven't seen yet. So I would actually be pissed off as well if it turned out to be all a dream, because that's just been done so many times. And I actually think it's kind of absurd to assume that would be the outcome, given the fact that like Robert Kirkman's just a better writer than that, and obviously he wouldn't use the same thing that's been used in a million other things a million other times before when his writing has been so good up until this point. So put that worry to bed. It's not going to happen. I think that the reason why we haven't seen Eugene is because of the fact that he's in Negan's control, and because of the fact that everybody wants to know what happens to him.
Well, yeah, but
they did these things to get us talking about it, which is what we're doing. It's all part of the plan.
He's still alive, though. He's still in Negan's compound. Like, we see Dwight on the I don't know, the balcony, scaffolding, whatever. We just don't see Eugene at all, and I just thought that was just so utterly bizarre. Also, with the one of the latest promo posters for The Walking Dead, it's Michonne, Carol, Tara, and Maggie, and Carol's in the center, which I think is just bizarre to me. Like, why is like Michonne and Carol are both like the same size, and then Maggie and Tara kind of in the back, but why is Carol in the center? Why was their first promo shot of Carol and Daryl? Like, where is the Rick and Michonne love? Like, come on, like these are the leads. Like, no disrespect to Carol, I just thought that was a weird setup. Obviously, that's going to jump out at me, Michonne fan,
Massive bias.
Not even no. Just like who are the leads of the show? Rick obviously comes to mind first, and then either Daryl or Michonne would be like second. And considering Michonne is Rick's, she's his right hand, she's the queen of the ZA. It would stand to reason that the lead person would be the person representing Alexandria, not the person representing, I guess, the kingdom.
Well, it could be because of the fact that there's more. So I mean, the whole theme of this next season is to be all-out war, right? Which implies that like there have to be warriors fighting that war. And if you look at it from that perspective, there's more warriors in the kingdom than in Alexandria. I mean, Alexandrians, basically the only Alexandrians that are capable of fighting are the ones that Rick brought in.
Well, yeah, and that's
with the exception of Aaron.
I'm just saying in the trailer we see Daryl blowing up shit, we see Carol shooting shit, and then we see Michonne looking, all bruised and beat up in the car next to Rosita. I'm just saying there's an imbalance there. I don't feel like that was like...
It's because whatever it is spoilery, and they can't show anything. So
that's what scares me.
Which is the same thing that happened last year, remember? So this is one of the reasons why I love this trailer so much, because the last year's trailer I hated. I understand why they had to do it, right? Because if they show any footage whatsoever involving any of the characters in the lineup doing anything new, that means they didn't die in the lineup. So they had to do that whole thing for like 2 minutes of like rehashing footage from the past, which was like just infuriating. This trailer was real. It had like all new stuff that we haven't seen ever before. There was nothing in the trailer that we hadn't already seen before. It had an awesome, badass Rick voiceover, like him talking about how the world is.
And I like the background music too.
Yeah, very unique. Like that weird, like little, like click click thing that like built upon itself. Cool. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. There was suspense involved. It was good.
Also during the panel, they had a pre-trailer to the trailer that showed season 1 up till now of the show and the characters. So I like that too. I like the throwback trailer. But this one, we see Carl in it, right? We see Carl, we see Enid.
Yeah, he's crouched looking through like cars, and he sees a walker that's like dead in the car seat of a car. He's scavenging or something on a run.
I don't know. Season 8 predictions. It's tough. I know the concern about Michonne dying due to the fact of what happened to Andrea in the comics.
That doesn't happen until way later.
I know, but compounded with the fact that Galera, is on fire right now, and she's doing all this Marvel shit. I think she has time for both, especially since everything is being filmed in Atlanta.
Well, Black Panther is already done filming that.
Yeah, but they're filming like Infinity Wars, and she's in that.
But she has a minor role in that one.
Yeah. But they're probably gonna do a Black Panther 2, and God, who knows?
Yeah, but not until the next off season of The Walking Dead. This is a very different scenario and situation than when Sasha got killed off on the show.
Wait, well let me just add that I'm waiting for the movie where Denai Guerrero stars as a spy or secret agent thing, and she's just kicking ass throughout from A to Z in the whole movie. I just want to throw that out there, but. You're right. The whole Sonequa Martin Green thing, those are filming in 2 totally different locations, and also she has a very lead role in the TV show. It's different than the film. There's no presumed end date for a TV series.
Yeah.
So that's valid. But what if she gets signed to the next Avatar or something? I'm gonna be like really upset because I need Michonne on there. I don't want to cosplay as zombie Michonne.
I don't think that anybody has to worry about that, at least right now. If she gets killed off, it's not going to be for several more seasons. Probably 2 or 3 more seasons, if it even happens at all.
Personally, I think they'll hit not episode. I think The Walking Dead will span through season 10 to 12. I don't think it'll go beyond that. I know they want to, but...
I think minimum 12. it would take up until 12 just to film and adapt what's already been written in the comic book. They're not going to prematurely end the series on TV without exhausting all the material in the comic book. That just makes no sense.
I mean, from a writing standpoint, I look at that in two ways. For instance, one with Game of Thrones, I feel like they could have gone beyond the books because the whole point of writing for the show and writing for these characters is that while you have to stay true to the world and the characters, you can still write beyond, the source material. That's the whole point of writing. That's the whole point of writing for a series.
That's more to my point, though.
I don't know, but on the other hand, I know the comics continue, and Robert Kirkman has no end date for the comics, and that's great. Thematically, I feel like, to a point, like sometimes things go on way too long. Sometimes things need to just roll over and die, and I don't want The Walking Dead to end on a low note.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm just expressing why I feel like season 12 will be good for that show. That being said, you also don't want to cut out too early, like a Seinfeld, and have like the shittiest version of a series finale ever, which was basically a composition of flashbacks and it sucked balls. I'm sorry, I'm just giving examples. It sucked to high heaven. Like, it was just like the worst way. Like, they were on top ratings wise, but that series finale was so shit. I don't want that for The Walking Dead.
I can't weigh in because I didn't watch Seinfeld, and to this day maintain my opinion that it's not funny, and I don't want to watch it at all. Getting back to The Walking Dead, I don't think any of that stuff is going to happen. The show has continually met and exceeded the expectations of everyone, including the people who produce it and also the fans. Every time that somebody thinks that something sucks and has no purpose or meaning, they always surprise us, and it always somehow makes sense later on down the line. I think that all the people who proclaimed that they would never watch another episode after Glenn's death and blah, 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 they'll all come back once they see season 8 and all the things that they have planned out.
Three things. One, is there a character death that will make you stop watching the show?
No.
Not even Rick? No. Okay. I war with myself on that because I feel like if there's no Rick, there's no point for me. I gotta know it's an ensemble cast, but Rick is basically my main reason to watch because he's the reason that sucked me in. That I feel loyal to him. That would be my point. I'm not saying that I would stop watching. I'm just saying it would make me really waver if we were to lose him over anyone else.
What if Daryl and Carl took over?
They're not Rick.
But you wouldn't care about Daryl and Carl?
They're not Rick. I'm not saying I would stop watching. I'm just saying I would have to really think about it. Like, I'd probably watch like the first episode of it. And then if it didn't get me, I might stop. I don't know.
But you know, though, that there would be, like, constant references to Rick and, like, past footage and all that sort of thing. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be the kind of thing where, like, he's just, like, gone from the show.
Andy's the heart of that show, though, for me.
I agree. But they're not. That's exactly the reason why they're not going to do that. Because they know that. They know that.
I'm just saying, when it comes to contract renegotiations, if he leaves the show, I don't know what I would do.
So
it's a question mark.
There's a lot of clickbait articles going around right now about how Rick is going to get killed off because nobody because nobody is safe and blah 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 blah. Okay, first of all, the entire reason why that stuff is going on is because for most part because websites want to get traffic, and so they title things in their article like why Rick is not safe on the show and all this other stuff, which gets a lot of clicks, and I understand why they do it given the fact that I work in advertising, so I get why they're doing that. However, just put those rests to bed. We all fucking know that if Rick dies, like, half the audience that watched the show is not going to be motivated to keep watching the show, which means that the advertising revenue of AMC would drop and they wouldn't be able to maintain the high budget of the show in the first place. So we don't have to worry about that. It's not going to happen. Plus, Andrew Lincoln is just a lovable guy who everybody likes to see at the panels.
I want to see him in the MCU only because of. I don't want to see him lead the show. This is so random, and I can't remember the third thing. I want to say only the second thing, but I just want to see him do something else. Like I see John Bernthal and everything, and he's Punisher, and I think that's great. I just want to see those two guys play opposite each other, and if Andy was in the MCU, that could happen. At least just as a guest star or something, maybe on the Punisher show. I don't know. That's such a random thought. What? That would be awesome. Like, I love those two guys. They played so well off of each other. Like, I want to see them work together again. I think that's a reasonable thing. But speaking of Shane, and also at the convention, and it's a slightly off topic, but not really. I saw this guy. Well, we saw this guy at the hotel bar. Let's call him Fake Shane, because I thought he could totally play like a Shane type character. And he brought up an interesting point that Rick might be immune.
No, that's probably not. That's probably not. Now we're getting into random conversations that were going on during Comic-Con with random fans that probably don't make any sense. Getting back to what we know about the show, what we know about the actors, and the way that things are now, there's no reason to believe or assume that Andrew Lincoln is ever going to leave the show until
his contract is good.
The end. And that is the reason why is because his existence holds the show together, and it holds the character of Rick holds the comic together. And we all need to remember that the show is loosely following the comic. And at this point in time, the comic still has Rick. He's still the leader. He's still doing just fine. And with the subject matter that is the source of the show, it's usually about 20 issues of the comic that is covered in the show per season. We still have 3 or 4 years more of the subject matter of the comic to cover in the show. And the comic isn't even over yet. I don't see them deciding to prematurely end the show before the subject matter of the comic plays out.
I think the comic will outlive the show. I don't think the comic will ever go away. That was the third thing I wanted to say. I know the show is probably going to end on the kids, on the second generation with Carl, Judy, the Gleggy baby, and Rashawn Jr. I'm sure that's going to happen. But all I want is for Tom Hiddleston to play adult Carl Grimes, unless the show goes on so long that Chandler becomes an adult, and then I guess he could just keep playing the character. But if they cancel it before that happens and he looks like a man,
it's not going to get canceled.
I mean, not canceled, but if it's, let's say, stopped.
Ended.
It ends. I would really dig Tom Hiddleston playing adult Carl Grimes. I'm just throwing it out there. That's just my own personal thought. And I still think that the conversation we had yesterday was interesting about what if a person dies and is brought back. Like, if the virus is activated when a person expires, but then you're brought back. I feel like some sort of Blade thing would happen where there's both things, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like if you're a walker, but I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe they have some sort of super immunity thing. I know this feels like a ramble, and I'm just
but we're referencing a conversation that we were having yesterday in regard to that scene in season 6 where Rick is running down the road and he discovers a couple walkers, kills them, cuts his hand, and then there's this whole thing where it's oh, why is Rick's hand not decaying and causing him to get the fever and all that stuff. Lots of theories about that. I'm not really sure how I feel about that, actually. But the bottom line point that I think that I want to make is just that, I don't think that there's any danger of Andrew Lincoln leaving the show. That's fucking stupid. And also, I don't think there's any danger of the show leaving TV. That's also nonsensical. It's good.
The party's got to end at some point, though.
Of course it is, but...
That being said, Supernatural is on season 12 or some shit, so there you go.
We're not even close to the end of the show. We're good. We're good. The only time that the show will end is when AMC stops making money off of it. And that's not going to be for a long fucking time.
Yo.
And on that note, I think we should end this video.
I guess Mr. Man is calling all the shots now, so we're gonna have to stop talking.
Follow us on Instagram at RL Rashon.
Oh, and check out we'll have some Rashon photos coming up. Oh, we have one up now, but we'll have others to come as well. So check out our Instagram for sure. Also, the Living Rashon on Facebook is pretty awesome. You should look at that too.
Definitely. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.